Hi Chefeteers, I'm Chef Nakia and I want you to be more confident in the kitchen and in front of the grill. And here we are, summertime, and so I have a summer dinner party menu package to share. What I hope you gain from these dinner party menu packages is a handful of seasonal recipes that really highlight some of the best flavors of the summer season, along with a really clear plan so that you can execute them with very little stress and impress your guests with the food that you have and how calm you are serving the food. And of course, I want you to be able to enjoy the time that you have with your guests, not stressing or running around feeling like I need to finish all of these other little things. So I really try to pick these recipes to go together well so that you can prep a lot of stuff ahead of time and it's still really delicious when your guests get here. And I have a plan to walk you through exactly how you do it. So in today's video, that is what I am going to do. I will talk a little bit about the dishes that I've chosen for the summer menu, dinner party menu, and then steps on the prep list to help you execute a stress-free dinner party at any point this summer. And the full menu package is in the description box below. It includes the recipes, a shopping list of all the ingredients you will need, a little menu card that you could display for your guests, along with this scheduled prep list and timeline execution plan. So what are we making for our summer dinner party? Well, I think that summer and sangria go together so well. And so we're going to do sangria for the welcome beverage or the featured cocktail of the evening. And then our appetizer, the thing that people can snack on as they arrive, is guacamole, because everybody loves chips and guac, right? And then you can also easily add any of your favorite salsas, bonus points if they're from a local place that you love. So your guests can just snack on chips and salsa and guac as everyone is arriving, warming up for the evening. Now our salad is a summer salad, and it is a very refreshing, light salad because it might be pretty hot out, especially if you're dining outside. It might be pretty hot. So it's a nice, refreshing way to start the meal. And then the entree is carne asada. And what I love about doing carne asada as an entree is you marinate it ahead of time and then you can grill it up fresh to serve. And you can serve that with multiple different accoutrements, and your guests can kind of build their entree for themselves. You can serve the carne asada with tortillas and papas fritas, French fries. Like French fries or skillet potatoes, rice and beans as sides. And then for the top, you can do all kinds of different salsas. Again, you can make them yourself, or you could maybe get from someplace local. You could do like a pineapple and jalapeno salsa, and you could do a pico de gallo, all kinds of different flavors that people can build their own tacos or loaded potatoes. You can also have simple toppings like diced white onion, cotija cheese, and some chopped up cilantro so that people can garnish that entree for themselves. Right? And then for dessert, we have a nostalgic favorite. We have some s'mores, but these are a little different. So if you don't have a campfire, bonfire, fire table type thing outside to be roasting your marshmallows over, you can still enjoy s'mores from the oven. So I've included a recipe for oven s'mores, which is a super simple dessert to make, and I just have it with graham crackers, marshmallows, and chocolate, as a normal s'more would be. But you could get a little, crazy and have extra fun with it and put extra candies or fruits, dried fruits, Nutellas, or almond butter, or whatever creative dessert garnish ideas you have. You can also even make the s'mores as a base and then scoop some ice cream on top. So it's like a hot and cold, nice summery dessert. That is an overview of the dishes. So now I will walk you through how you can prep this, most of these dishes ahead of time, so that once your guests arrive, you can feel really present and involved in, you know, the conversation and the ambiance of the evening, and you don't feel like you are just cooking with just trying to keep one ear open for the conversation. You really feel involved and present with your guests. Let's say you downloaded the menu package and you are getting ready to go to the grocery store to buy the ingredients in that nice handy dandy shopping list. Before you go, be sure to make a couple decisions. Number one is, do you want to make homemade tortillas to pair with the carne asada, or do you want store-bought tortillas? I've been making tortillas since I was like a little girl. It's something that my mom taught me very young, and so to me, making homemade tortillas feels super simple. It'll take like 45-ish minutes depending on how many you're making, maybe up to an hour. It's really not difficult at all, and it might be something that you want to try. You can always make your tortillas ahead of time. If you want to eat them more than about 3 days ahead, you can go ahead and throw them in the freezer. They freeze and thaw totally fine. So maybe you want to make some from scratch, and if so, that recipe is included in the package. If not though, you can absolutely buy your tortillas. So you'll just want to be sure to edit that shopping list with either the ingredients for the homemade tortillas or just a reminder to go ahead and purchase your favorites when you're at the store. The recipe I have, it is for flour tortillas, and I use some whole wheat flour, some not whole wheat flour, so they're slightly whole wheat flour tortillas. I do not have a corn tortilla recipe included. Then the second thing you want to decide is, for that sangria, do you want to make your own cinnamon tequila? I like to use, a bottle like this size. It's maybe a cup and a half or so of liquid, and I will put 2 cinnamon sticks, just like this, in and fill it with tequila. Let it sit for at least 24 hours. 48 hours is ideal. And honestly, that one, I think that I had the cinnamon soaking in there for over a month, and that gave it that really beautiful amber color. So it's not necessarily a maximum time, but do try to do this at least 2 days before your party. I always recommend to people, use it with the type of tequila that you would typically make cocktails with. Not the one that you're just gonna sip with either an ice cube or no ice cube at all. And also, don't necessarily go and find like the cheapest tequila that you can. Now, you don't have to use cinnamon tequila. You could just make your sangria without that, but I like that little bit of cinnamon in it. And I have not found a like cinnamon tequila or a cinnamon-based alcohol out there that I find the flavor very enjoyable for, so I don't really have a recommendation for a store-bought one. But if there's something you like, then yeah, use that too. And then go ahead and just edit your shopping list to include either cinnamon sticks, if you need those, or whatever alcohol you are hoping to use. Before you head to the store, also just think if there are any particular salsas, toppings, accoutrements that you want to include with your carne asada that you might not see on that list. Like I said, you may have some local favorites. So now we're gonna talk about those tasks that you could very easily get done the day before your party. This way, on the day of your dinner party, you don't even have to worry about them. And so, as I mentioned before, if you are making homemade tortillas, you could absolutely make those the day before. If you make those the day before, let them cool, and then put them in like a silicone resealable, reusable bag, or a like large like Ziploc bag, or you can wrap them in aluminum foil. Now, in addition to that, you can also wash and peel and slice and prep most all of your vegetables. Don't do anything with the avocado yet, but for your summer salad, you can wash and chop the lettuce, you can, wash your cherry tomatoes, and you can thaw your frozen corn, or if you prefer, you could get some fresh ears of corn and boil that or grill that. It would be delicious prepared, whatever like your favorite way to prepare corn on the cob or ears of corn. You can do that and then, you know, slice it off of the corn cob and toss that in the salad. There's also bell pepper in the salad that you can certainly wash and chop ahead of time. That cucumber and cilantro for the salad, along with the jalapeno, you can get all of that washed and chopped. And I mean, you can put all of that together in a big salad bowl too. So at this point, your salad can be 95% done. The last two things we're going to do is tomorrow, or like on the day of the party, you'll add the avocado and then your dressing. And you can either, you know, toss dressing on the salad right before you serve it, or you can just serve it with dressing on the side. And that way people can add as much or as little as they would like, and you don't have to worry about that lettuce getting wilty. Typically for dinner parties, not every single salad, but this style summer salad, I would just serve the dressing on the side and leave the salad undressed. The other very easy thing that you can do the day before is make your pico de gallo. You can wash all of those veggies, dice everything up, mix it all together and have it in a covered bowl waiting for the guests to arrive the next day. Alrighty, and then some of the first things you're gonna wanna do the day of your dinner party is go ahead and get the marinade for your steak ready. So you'll just mix that up in a bowl and put the steak in a dish that fits the steak very appropriately. Now that means that you would want your steak to be setting flat. Ideally, it is not rolled or folded on itself. Hopefully there's enough space for it to be flat. However, there's not much extra space from that. And you know, flank steak is relatively thin, and so the goal is to have the marinade covering the majority of both sides of the steak. If you don't really have a dish that can do that, I would recommend going just slightly on the smaller side and, you know, really trying to fit the steak in there. So you might have to curl up a little tip of the steak or something, and then let it marinate for about an hour and then flip it over. So then the opposite side of the steak is setting in the marinade, and let it marinate then until you are ready to cook it. So once your marinade is ready to go, your meat is in the pan, your marinade is in the pan, then cover it. If you have a lid for this dish, that's awesome. If not, you can use aluminum foil or plastic wrap, and then put that in the fridge. You wanna make sure you keep the meat in the fridge because meat should not sit out at room temperature for longer than 2 hours. Our goal is to marinate this around 4 hours. If you have a pretty busy day and you can only get it in that marinade 2 hours beforehand, you'll be okay. And then the other thing that you can work on earlier in the day is getting all of the fruit washed and sliced up for your sangria. And I like to, when I do sangria, I like to have it in a nice big pitcher. So I would just put that fruit in the pitcher. You can add all of the liquids to that and then just save it in the fridge. I wouldn't add any ice to it until right before you serve it because we don't want the ice to water everything down too much. And so this time within your day, it would be a great time if you have like decor or things to set up, like fun games or stuff that you have as part of your dinner party. Like get that assembled. You can pull out any of your like presentation dishes or any special dishes you don't use very often that you might have to unbury from the basement. All of those kinds of like decor extra things. But as you're moving through the afternoon, maybe getting a little bit closer, like within 2 hours or so of everybody coming over, you can start working on dessert, which are those oven s'mores. This oven s'mores comes together by you layer graham crackers on a sheet pan, and you can slightly toast those before you put this marshmallow spread on if you want, or you can just kind of leave them. It's fine, either way. You melt the marshmallows like mini, like instead of like the big jumbo marshmallows you would use for s'mores, I like to use the mini ones because they'll melt a little more quickly and more evenly. melt that with butter and you melt that Hershey's chocolate into it. And you are more than welcome to use a higher quality chocolate if you would prefer. I just kept this super classic and using like Hershey's chocolate for the s'mores, but this will work well with higher quality chocolate too. So you melt that together, so then you'll have this chocolatey marshmallow spread, and you spread that over the graham crackers, and then you'll have some leftover mini marshmallows and graham crackers that you can break up into pieces and the little Hershey's squares, and you'll sprinkle that on top of the marshmallow spread. This then I like to just keep in the oven with the oven off. And of course this only works if you are not going to be using the oven for anything else. If you are, you can just store this anywhere at room temperature. But if you aren't going to be using the oven for anything else, or if you have two ovens to use, then you can just use one for this, store it in there. Because you're gonna wanna heat this up pretty much right before you serve it. But this means that the only thing that you have to do is, get it from the table, go turn the oven on, and then sit back down and let it toast for 15 to 20 minutes. And this will depend a little bit on how long it takes your oven to heat up. And then about 1 hour before guests arrive, this is where we can start doing anything that involves avocado. So we can slice up the avocado and add that to our summer salad, and then we can also make the guacamole. Making the guac won't take long at all, especially the recipe I've included. It is handed down from a grandma figure. I won't go into the specifics of whose cousins and whatnot because I don't know if I would even follow it for sure, but it is a family recipe passed down. It is quite simple, which is why I love it, because you really get to enjoy the flavor of the avocado. We add green chili, lemon juice, and some garlic salt. Of course, you can always add tomato or onion or other things if you would like, or you could have the guacamole and then kind of make a well in it and then add salsa or other ingredients if you would like to do that to, make it a little bit of your own. But this is a very simple, delicious guacamole to kind of be that template, and you can let your own creativity shine with whatever you want to do with it. And then the carne asada is going to take 15 to maybe up to 20 minutes to cook. So you want to plan how quickly you want everyone to sit down for the entree when they arrive, right? If you're having everybody come over at 5, but you probably don't really want to eat until closer to 7, then don't grill yet. Wait and grill, even though guests are around, but grill at like 6:30, 6:40-ish. Yes, it is one culinary step to be doing while your guests are here, but especially if it's somewhat decent outside, you're probably gonna have some guests who are more than happy to hang out around you as you're grilling. And it's not like you have to stand over the grill the entire 15 to 18 minutes. You can get the grill warmed up, ready to go, and then throw the meat on, go back and chat with people for 5 to 7 minutes, and go back out, flip it, see how it's going, and then from there figure out if you want it to cook another 7 to 10 minutes or so. So it's not something that needs to be flipped more than twice. As guests are about to be arriving, you can be filling glasses with ice and pouring sangria in those glasses so that you have a nice welcome drink for people to have in their hand. You can be portioning that guacamole into a bowl, salsas into bowls, chips, ready for people to be snacking on. And then whenever you go to get ready to eat, you can just pull that summer salad out of the fridge and have the dressing on the side, or toss it in right before you put it out on the table for everybody to share. And then all of the accoutrement for your carne asada should be set. If you are doing beans or rice, you can start to cook those about an hour before. And for any papas fritas or french fries that you want to serve with them. So it depends on how you want to prepare those. For this situation, I would actually probably recommend buying some frozen potatoes, whatever style you like best, be it steak fry size or waffle fries or thin little shoestrings. whatever you and your guests are gonna love the most, and then just prepare them based off of the package instructions. And when that carne asada comes off of the grill, you can just slice it, let it rest for like 3 minutes or so, and then slice it into nice thin slices. And then that way people can build their little entrees. And then oven s'mores are super simple. Just heat and eat whenever the time is right. So I hope that this summer dinner party menu sounds delicious to you. And like I said, if you want to download this for yourself, the link is in the description box. It includes all of the recipes. So like the exact steps you'll want to take are all written out for you in those recipes. But then I have this prep list timeline to keep you organized as you're getting everything ready. The shopping list, so you can go to the store and get everything that you will need. Be sure to make a couple of those edits and personalize that shopping list a little bit before you head out. But this gives you the bulk of everything. And then a nice fun little menu card that you can print and have available for people so that they can get an idea of what the meal is going to be. If you decide to host a summer dinner party this year and you use my recipes, I would love to hear how it went for you. And if you have any questions, please just comment on this video and I will do what I can to get you whatever resources or answer your questions or guidance that would help you the most. Thank you, Chefeteers. Have a joyful day.